Have you ever felt like you were thriving at work? You were even cherished, and then all of a sudden things began to change. You began to be sidelined, scrutinized, or even worse. Like the vibe completely shifts, and somehow you went from being the person everyone loved to becoming a threat. And this is far too common in corporate spaces for Black women especially, and that's what I'm talking about in this video. I'm explaining to you the term going from pet to threat. I'm explaining what it means and also giving you some advice and strategies to be able to reclaim your power at work and still thrive in your career. Let's start off by sharing my client's story. So I recently worked with a client. She was desperately trying to escape a toxic workplace. The thing is, she was explaining to me that her workplace wasn't always this way. She was stuck in an environment where she was constantly being gaslit. The stress was so bad that it caused her mental health issues, and she developed a speech impediment because of the stress she was experiencing at work. And she was overqualified and basically completely undervalued in her workplace. But things didn't start off this way. When she first joined the team, they loved her. They loved everything about her and the value that she brought. But then all of a sudden she became a threat to them when they recognized the potential and the knowledge that she had. She all of a sudden became this person that they had to dumb down, or this person that they had to control. This is a reality that many Black women face in corporate spaces. It goes from first being accepted and slowly you become this person who's seen as harmful. So the terminology is pet to threat. And that is what my client basically experienced. This terminology was coined by Dr. Kesia Thomas. She is a legal scholar and critical race theorist who talked about this phenomenon that happened predominantly with Black women in professional spaces. It often happens when a Black woman is initially embraced in the workplace. So she's seen as a pet or the exception. She's valued for her uniqueness and not perceived as a direct competitor or a challenger to the existing power structure. However, as her competence, influence, and capabilities grow, she begins to excel or challenge the status quo, and that perception shifts everything dramatically. She's transformed from being this non-threatening pet into being this perceived threat to the established power structure, power dynamics, and the comfort from the system. So this is a trigger, a subtle trigger, but what tends to happen is exclusion, microaggressions, gaslighting. The ultimate goal of all this is to undermine her authority, minimize her contributions, and eventually push her out. The workplace basically becomes toxic, not because of her performance, not because her performance has declined, but because her rising power is now seen as a danger to the status quo. So now let's talk about what to do if you find yourself in this kind of situation. It can be extremely isolating and really frustrating to find yourself in this kind of workplace. The thing to remember is that you are not powerless. And here are some of the strategies that you can implement. The first thing is to build a support system outside of your work. You don't want to rely only on your current job for support. It's really important to find people who can advise, who can help you outside of your current workplace. Start by making these connections before you actually need them. Look for mentors who can give you advice. Look for sponsors or champions. These are the kinds of people who will speak for you and help you find new opportunities. This group of people, especially those not currently at your company, can give you honest opinions. They can support you and they can provide advice about your career path. And you want to think of them like career insurance, because this is how you make sure that you always have options and you don't get stuck in your career. The second thing that you want to do is keep a strong record of your achievements. This can seem like it's extra work sometimes, but it's honestly very essential. You want to make it a habit to regularly track and write down all your achievements, awards, any good feedback that you get. Try to do this at once a month, but I would say even every week. And this written record becomes your main way to show your value. It helps you push back against any negative talk or any self-doubt that tries to lessen what you've done. And if things get really tough at work, having clear proof of your performance and your worth is going to be your strongest defense. Number 3, take care of your mental and emotional health. Dealing with difficult workplace situations can be extremely draining, and don't underestimate how much this can affect you. You want to make sure that you're regularly doing things that truly help your mental health and emotional well-being. Invest in things that help you grow and become stronger. For example, something that helps me is I run, but maybe for you it's meditation or being in therapy or mindfulness, exercising regularly, whatever it is that will help you heal and recharge. Make sure that you're protecting that inner peace so you get the energy to be able to keep going after your goals and succeed no matter what challenges come your way. Number 4 is don't tie your identity to this job. I know it gets very difficult to disconnect who you are from what you're doing, but you have to do that in order to be able to reclaim your power. It's really important that you remember that you are not your job. And it's also important that you remember that this is just a job. It is not your whole career. Your career is a lifelong journey, and you'll be able to change roles many times. I've been in this situation where I've worked in a toxic workplace. I thought I was strong. I thought that I knew how they played the game. I knew that they were manipulating. I knew that they were lying. And I just kept telling myself I know how to play the game, so I kept going. At the time, I was a leader, so all I was thinking is I have to protect my team, and whatever's happening above me that's causing the dysfunction, I'm just going to distance myself from it. What I didn't realize is the emotional toll that it was taking on me. Even though I was saying I was strong, I could do this, I could do that, I had taken a couple of days off from work, and the day I was supposed to go back to work, I was lying in bed and I could literally not move anymore. My body was like, no. It wasn't going to do it anymore, not going to tolerate it anymore. And that was a wake-up call for me. And I'm so happy that I had that wake-up call before things got even worse, because I could have found myself in a serious health crisis or serious burnout because of the stress that I was taking on from my workplace, that I didn't even realize that I was holding on to this huge burden and this huge responsibility because I was trying to be strong for everyone around me. So you want to make sure you're not tying who you are to what you do, and take care of yourself also in that process. So going back to my client story that I shared with you at the very beginning of this video, we worked together for 3 months and the transformation was absolutely profound. She rebuilt her confidence, she was able to reclaim her career narrative, and she did land a promotion in a completely new department, and she now is in a healthy work environment where she's appreciated for what she brings to the table. I'll share with you right here the testimonial that she shared with me once we were done working together. I did get really emotional because it's a testament of what's possible when you invest in yourself, when you take decisive action. Of course, she could have made excuses. She could have stayed in her comfort zone, but she didn't. Instead, she decided she wasn't settling for less anymore, and she took ownership of her career. And her story is really a powerful example of how you can go from pet to threat and then powerfully move beyond it. And so I was so thankful for the opportunity to be able to work with her and help her leave such a toxic work environment. If you're ready to create your own powerful career transformation, I've left the link to book a discovery call with me in the description. And this is your opportunity to reach out, to have a conversation about how we can create an exit strategy for you to be able to leave a toxic role or to be able to advance to something even greater. I'm looking forward to talking to you. If dealing with toxic coworkers is something that you are also facing, check out this video right here.